Now, so how about like Sullivan's Joint, yeah? Okay, just give me 1 minute here.
St. Patrick's Day weekend from Dublin, Ireland. It's been an amazing Tarleton State University College of Business Administration study abroad spring break for us. We've learned so much while we were here, and I'm so proud of our students. Our business have been incredibly diverse. Everything from an e-learning, online training company that works all over the world, to the U.S. Embassy, to FMC, and we have a branch of FMC even in Stephenville. So we've seen operations that we never expected, but I think for the students, it's been a chance for them to jump out of their box, jump out of their comfort zone, experience the world, and I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. They're going to keep on going from here. I hope it's a life changer. We're making a difference. When business is done right and it's done well, it affects the people around them, and we can make the world a better place.
So they're going to do all that archive stemware. The rest of the company's products have gone onto the continent of Europe. They've gone to the likes of Poland, Germany, the Czech Republic, Slovakia. Each piece of Waterford crystal, regardless of where it's made, there's a stamp. That stamp is Waterford. There's quality control. The map of the world gives you an idea of the areas that Waterford crystal are involved in, where they get their raw materials, and where their beautiful pieces are housed. Now, into the United States go an awful lot of pieces, and coming up to next weekend, Patrick's weekend, you're going to have the traditional bowl of Shamrock presented to the President of the United States in a Waterford crystal bowl. In 1848, a year after the famine, it was hoisted here and thus became the flag of Ireland.
Platform there in the middle, we have our main electric furnace behind the heat shields there. The temperature of that furnace is 1,400 degrees, and you can also see in the room we have 1, 2, 3 blue tanks there. These tanks are portable furnaces used for reheating the crystal and keeping the crystal pliable at all times while the craftsman is shaping the piece. Because when he's pre-shaping the piece, if it cools at any stage, it will harden and he won't be able to work with it. See, the wooden tools are kept in containers of water, and that is to cool down the wood, but as well as that, the water acts as a lubricant as well. Is dispensed into canisters, which you can see at the very back there on my right hand side. There's like a turntable. We do crystals in colour, but we don't do it in this factory here. A lot of colour pieces will be made in Poland. The furnace that we have here isn't big enough, so we'd have to have a separate coloured furnace, but we just do clear here. The crystal is like the piece is blown clear, and then just say the black cut. So all the pieces that are blown today, we will not cut them or work on them until probably later on during the week. Everything in this factory is already ordered, it's already sold. So that's split up maybe 3 or 4 orders.
Now, this furnace is a 2.5 ton furnace. What, if you come up and see where the red light is flashing, the red light will change to green and the next one will be in place for the next blower to take up. This is weighed and all for them. They also have an open furnace hole there as well, just behind the heat shields.
We'll keep it as simple as we can. You're here to enjoy yourselves and I'm here to help you to enjoy yourselves. So we look forward to a great time together. And as we start our tour, when we finish our tour, I hope that you'll have a great idea about Ireland. And probably you have a great passion for it already, but maybe a stronger passion and a stronger bond of friendship. So we look forward to our time together. My name is John O'Donovan. I work with Butler's Buses in Cork. I have the honour and privilege at the moment to drive Tarleton University from Texas on their tour of Ireland and education trip. We've travelled all over the country, seen many sites of great interest and some beautiful areas. One thing that has come on a highlight of our tour is the tidy towns of Ireland and how beautiful our towns have been presented to these students and the people from Tarleton University. The tidy towns of Ireland are something that we are very, very proud of, and it initiated going back to our history. As you know, we became a free state in 1922 in southern Ireland, and we have great pride in our homes and our towns and our countryside, where at one time we had rented our land from the British landlords who took occupation since the time of the 1600, around the period of the flight of earls, when they drove our chiefs and landlords off our country. So that makes it now, with our situation, having pride in our homes, and you'll find that Irish people don't really like to rent, they like to own their own homes. Within that community of the tidy towns, in each area all over our country, you have groups of people, like for instance and for example, you have the elderly group of people from the towns themselves and the young people from the town that would set projects and plan weekends of their own, going around the towns, tidying and keeping the place beautiful. They have what's known at each weekend, they would adopt an area and they would clean that and turn it into a beautiful, beautiful area. All over Ireland, we have competitions on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, within its own area, and we have different categories, which is known as the Tidy Towns of Ireland. And if you ever have an opportunity to travel all of our country, you will always see a sign coming into the town which will say Fáilte go dtí an balla seo, welcome to this town. And then immediately after this, you will see a sign in brown background, and it'll tell you what category this town is in the tidy towns. You will see many places like the town of Killarney, the town of Kenmare, the town of Adair, and you'll see the awards they have achieved, which are very, very beautiful towns. And it has been brought to my notice, these people are very impressed about the way the towns have been kept in Ireland.
Well, we're here in Ireland and this is my third study abroad trip, and so far this has been one of the most beautiful sceneries that I've ever seen. Green grass and there's sheep running around, and the people have been so friendly. Everybody's super happy to meet us and they love that we're from Texas, and it's been a really good time. And I'm ready for the rest of the trip to get going and have more fun, and it's been really great.
Ireland has been wonderful. The people are special, they're friendly, they've talked to us, pulled us aside, given us direction. We have had a wonderful interaction here. The technology is not as present as it is in the United States. That's been very interesting to see how different people interacted.
I got lost, so I had to ask a lot of directions every couple of blocks, and the people were so nice.
We've been around for 120 years. Prior to that, I haven't been here all that time, just the most of it. And we haven't been in Cork for 120 years, but I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. But we were founded by a guy who actually invented a crop sprayer. So if any of you, like I was when I was a child, familiar with knapsack sprayers, the original one of those was what started off FMC Corporation. Four businesses now that are part of Health Nutrition. Sorry, five, I can't keep up. You've got Carrageenan and alginate, they're based from seaweed. They're gelling agents, so you extract, you can see the trees, you can see the brown seaweeds for alginate, and you can see the more green, black or red seaweeds for grade. So, and the benefit, if you like, is that it's entirely useless. It has no nutritional value. It has no allergic reactions. It has no chemical reactions with most drugs, with 99% of the drugs. And its only claim to fame in this application is that when you press it, it forms a heart white tablet that won't break easily. So it's ideal for the purpose.
Yeah.
So it's pretty high volume, and then we've reasonably automated packaging, and then we ship globally.
This is the control room for the site, and basically what the lads here control is pretty much all the continuous operation that happens here. And so all the little squares of material I mentioned go to tanks. Obviously you've depolymerized the polymer at that point. Life cycle, all this stuff we went through, go pulp, wood pulp. It's like medium, you know, it's like a bit of manual handling still. I'm going to show you that next. So you can see the pallet guys just moving the pallet around. We produce around 700 or 800 kilos an hour there. Then the furthest off one, you see the far off running so fast and the drops are so small. Okay, and depending on the speed that you run at that, the drops are bigger or smaller, mainly because of fracking. Okay, so there's a big dividend to manufacturing in the States, and I guess that's why you're seeing kind of a manufacturing renaissance in the States right now. Well, one of the reasons, there's a lot of other reasons too, but one reason is because energy in the States is roughly half of what it costs here. Here there's no tariffs from here to the European Union consumption. That's one key part, and we've access to that, I guess, as well there. And the second one is corporate tax here as well. We usually run a truck or 2 trucks of those every 12 hours. And I come in here with the drumline, which I'll show you in a moment.
Gotcha.
Sorry. We'll try and keep the smile on.
Yeah.
Trying to pretend like I'm tall.
It's really so cool in there. Whoa, that's like old stuff. Oh my gosh, please don't video me falling on my butt. Yeah, they're really scary trying to get down.
Remember the fairy garden?
Yeah.
Were you done with that?
Oh my god.
Not yet. Not yet.
I did it.
That's it?
That's
it?
Like,
And then you hang on.
Head down and kiss the bottom.
Sorry.
Head to lean back.
No, I'm gonna lean
Don't worry about it. Hold the 2 bars.
Okay.
And kiss the bottom.
Trying to get
Oh, good.
Sit well done.
Hey.
Hands this way.
We're doing a shot.
Head down, kiss the bottom stone, right in front of you.
Hey! Wait, hang on. Okay.
No, hold the 2 bars behind you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Watch your head down, and kiss the bottom stone.
Go all the way down. Oh, all the way. Down.
That's it, well done.
Very good, Ray.
2 bars behind.
Yes, sir.
Head down and kiss the bottom stone. Watch your head right in front of you. That's it, well done.
I am absolutely terrified of heights, so making it up to the top of the castle was my battle completely in itself. But once I saw people hanging off the building, that wasn't gonna happen.
I kissed the Blarney Stone yesterday, and I need all the luck I can get.
I didn't kiss the Blarney Stone because I didn't trust the guy to hold me.
How do you feel about it now?
I feel okay. I got a souvenir with the Blarney Stone with the look of the Irish coin, so I'm okay with it.
And we just got done kissing the Blarney Stone, and I did it for a little luck of the Irish.
That was good, huh?
Excellent.
It only took 4 hours to climb up here.
I just wanted to pick up on
Oh. Oh, wow. That's me?
One of the reasons I wanted to come to Ireland was to learn more about my heritage. So I asked the bus driver, O'Donovan, about my family and our background. I told him I come from the Dohertys and the Conleys. And the Dohertys and Conleys both lived in Carrickmacross, Ireland, which is kind of on the border of Northern and Southern Ireland. And they would go basically buy things for cheaper in Northern Ireland and sell them to the Southern Ireland people. So they were more known as the rebels. So that was just something kind of cool that I could learn more about my heritage around here. The best part of being in Ireland is all the scenery. Yesterday we went to the Ring of Kerry, and we got to see all of the different, all of the glaciers and how it was formed by glaciers, and it's just crazy to think that people would walk through them and go all around. It's also been fun going out and seeing how people act in different places, and each town seems to have its own character. Molly and I were hanging out. Molly, Terry, and I hung out on the first day, and we got to go to a bunch of different shops, and I'm excited to keep going and ride on this ferry, actually. Trip. He's really given us his insight on everything and his personal view. It's different than what you learn in school in the history classes. We get to see firsthand because he's experienced all of the things that he's telling us about. And it's also interesting because we've done so much during the day. At the end of the day, when you start thinking everything you've been through, you think, wow, was that just yesterday that we did that? It seems like we've been here a week and it's only been 3 days. We have another hour and 20 minutes, and then we'll go see the cliffs of Moher. The Cliffs of Moher was incredible. It's amazing how far you can see, and the cliffs, I can't even get over it. It's just so wonderful, and it's beautiful, and it almost looks like it's not even real here.
Cliffs of Moher, it's beautiful.
Cliffs of Moher were really good.
Some images of the castle as it was a ruin before it was restored in the 1950s. He was an Anglo-Irish nobleman. His name was Lord Gort. So it's a very stark visit. It's very, very different to King John's or to Bunratty. So the interpretation had therefore to be very different. You know, areas we can concentrate on. So I find that actually, that element of it very exciting, but I find it very time consuming. So that's the very first message, Ireland. I mean, I'm really proud of my country and proud of where I come from. So I want people to come to Ireland. And if at the end of the day somebody decides, well, I want to fly into Cork and I want to go there first, well, I have absolutely no problem with that as long as people come to Ireland. And I'm sure it'll be the same for you guys.
You're very welcome to Bunratty.
It's all the way, more away, more broad. It's all the way, more away, Shingle Lala. On Jog and Moor is far away, we know. Run, run, roll, and it's all to you again. Should have been young, young clothes, way on, and there's a break, I got a spring. Hey, I stay
I just want to talk about how important I think traveling is and just how much you learn from it. I feel like at home I eat at the same restaurants and I order the same thing and I go out with the same group of friends and we have our own way of talking, and then you go somewhere different and I order stuff off the menu that I don't even know how to say, and I like that we can change it up and you meet people and they have a different way of talking, you know, they have different slang. It's hard to just run up to them and get conversation going when they say different stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but it's pretty cool. I've learned so much. I learned just to wing it. I've also been really happy that I just don't use my phone. I'm not just looking down the whole time. I'm looking at the world and actually seeing stuff. Compared to at home, I could be pretty bad about sitting there checking my Facebook constantly, having to have it with me. Yeah. So instead, I'm actually looking around.
We, you know, the chair of Westpick is actually one of the senior guys in HP here in Galway. So we connect well, even in the centre here, we connect with the corporates. But our main job is to work with the early stage companies and the early stage entrepreneurs. And that's what we, you know, that's our main role, and that's hopefully what we do best.
Have you seen more or fewer entrepreneurs since 2008 with the recession?
Well, maybe not so much more, but the ones we are seeing are of higher quality. Toby, nice to meet you. All right, so we'll head up this way. Perfect. Our background is started in the university, but also the BICS in Ireland, which was a European Union initiative, has been adopted into the government framework of supports for startups. So we're a government-supported organisation. So we're a company limited by guarantee, which means we're not profit. So we're actually a European-wide network. So in Ireland, if I just pick up the Irish side, in Ireland there are ourselves there in the west in the green, and then we've Corkbic down south. The source for us is we were in existence for 25 years, so we've worked with quite a number of entrepreneurs.
So y'all don't make any kind of portion of a profit off of the companies that?
No. We don't charge the startups that we work with. We don't charge them a fee because the government pick up that bill, if you like, because they fund us to provide that support. Yeah.
Where do you look at trying to set the companies where they begin to grow?
Yeah, well, typically what happens is, I mean, the profile growth and turnover is kind of small in the first 18 months, and then hopefully it's beginning to pick up after that. You're losing money. Now that's exactly the reason, from a cash flow perspective then, that's exactly the reason. You know, it's a difficult path, so there are failures, and it's just the nature of the beast.
Sure.
Those companies.
Okay, I guess.
1, 2, 3.
So is it word of mouth that spreads the word?
Well, people like the place. I mean, there's something very unusual about it. The experience of here is, even for us, I walk down the avenue in the morning early when there's nobody around or very few around.
Completed back 2020 for y'all's 100 years, is that correct?
It's ambitious. We're getting closer every hour, you know.
Have y'all started any of the renovations yet? Are y'all
We're doing piecemeal ones. We're doing piecemeal ones. This is something different. This is something we have to kind of, if you like, sacrifice for, I suppose.
Yes.
Do you know what part? You don't know what part of Ireland they came to without?
I know. My grandfather was the last, or my great grandfather was the last one.
So they aren't not farming anymore?
Not anymore. That moves on whenever everything. So.
and this is something very special.
That's from our, to represent our kinesiology department, it's like our athletic department.
I see, very
so
nice.
It's
Designed by you people as well?
It's for our sports teams and stuff like that, so when we're at games,
It's
like our
Tarleton.
That's very nice.
It's really opened my eyes to how things across the seas have just, it's a different culture, everything, the business aspect of how things are ran in the U.S. compared to here, just a complete change. Everything's kind of toned down here. There's not as much technology. Everybody's on the trip's been worried about their phones and everything, and no one's had service, and they've had to open their eyes and really take in what Ireland has to offer.
And my son shall ever be. How marvelous, how wonderful is my Saviour's birth for me. For me it was in the garden, he prayed not the wind but mine.
Let's come on down here. Is everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Turf is a fuel that's used in the firing all over Ireland. There is raised bog, lower bog and commercial bog. These are raised bogs. A raised bog means a bog at different level. You can see the bog over here is 15 feet higher than the bog here. The turf, this is what it is before it gets cut. This is a turf bog. This turf bog could go 6 feet low, 8 feet low, 20 feet low, 40 feet low. You never know until you start hitting water. And when you stop hitting water, you stop. Because underneath this is lakeland, Turlock lakeland underneath. So you stop and then you continue on and you spread along the turf bog. To create this, what is known as a sod of turf, it takes about 4,000 years. I was explaining to you, it comes up from the undergrowth, tree roots, grass underneath the surface, and then compressed down with grass and all different types of different materials, rushes, reeds, forced down against the tree roots and creates this turf.
I'm really not even wearing cold shower gear. I'm a weirdo.
Interesting, you know, this Killary Harbour.
Fantastic. He told me that you interviewed him.
Yeah. I did a terrible job.
No, it
I'm
was you.
sure you did a great job. Whatever you said was just the right thing.
You want to take a picture of it where you put it? Yeah, I'll point at it.
I'm from terror on my face.
Are far away, but dreams don't last. Our dreams are not forgotten. They take you back soon. Reality.
I'm a graduating senior. I wanted to take study abroad to Ireland to come see the scenery, listen to the music, get involved with all the culture, the locals. Like, it's been a really great experience. I came and I've seen so many different instruments, and the guitar, the accordion, the bagpipes, some people are playing the flute. There's just been so much nightlife too, and
it's just been a really great experience. Going to, I forgot what it was called, the dinner, the medieval times dinner, and it's different from the medieval times dinner back home. There wasn't jousting, but it was more music, vocal music. There's a harp. It was just really beautiful, and I've been having a really, really great time.
With food and wine, your grace will fill as we sing cave in a forest. Our people here have naught to fear and love to make fine music. We dance and prance with right good cheer, so come ye all to frolic. Away with frown, these gates are down, and merry are our guests. And lord and lady will surround with one of many jests. With fiddle beat and harp so sweetly will your time be heard. Be light of heart and pleasure beat into one mighty side.
Scotch, a lot of them, like they're going to 18
Oh, the sun, the beautiful sun. Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Resurgence in America of collaborative learning, where a lot of people are learning together. How do you deal with the pedagogical differences between cultures and the different ways that people learn when you're delivering an e-learning class?
I'm not a book learner personally. I need to do. So I like to go in and see very quickly and let me get into an application and see how I can figure it out myself. That's a personal thing. A lot of people do like the book. They like to be able to read it. So I think a mixture of having a lot of different content and product offerings, from video to courseware to little podcasts to
the live learning.
The live learning.
So it's
and a good way to get at it. I think a simplistic way to find specifically what it is you're looking for helps.
Like Shane was saying, I'll be making sure they're kind of reading the script
properly.
That the levels are good.
The levels are good, yeah, and making sure that, you know, we're marking all mistakes as they go along. Just trying to get them to sound like they know what they're talking about.
Okay.
And then
Make it a smooth presentation.
yeah, try to. And then the rest of the time I'll be in here editing these things.
Okay.
Putting out fluffs and mistakes, and then doing the matting, and yeah, just generally.
So is it required that you have a certain level of content knowledge?
No, but you kind of get it as you go along.
Yes, you do.
You know?
By osmosis, absolutely.
Yeah. I feel like I could nearly code.
I want to ask you, so how do you ensure that quality when you
what we
know those languages
do
yourself?
from a production perspective, the guidelines and the processes would be very much designed around the architecture we're building, you know, the templates, how something is going to be delivered and how it looks. What we outsource is the language expertise.
Oh, okay.
So on a US side, we would outsource to a company that's very highly skilled in flash development, multimedia, video production, etc.
There are everything from in certain markets, like in the US market, just as an example, I'm talking about localizing from the US market now. In our US market, age profiles, so we'd have to have younger, older, you know, different skin colours, different voices, so we have to make sure that business attire may not be appropriate business attire in Saudi Arabia. You know, or the very fact that a woman appears to be the boss of a man. You are learning informally 70% of the time. Socially, you're learning 20% of the time, and then your formal learning is only 10% of the time. So, not so relevant obviously when you're in university or when you're in college, but as soon as you roll into the workplace, you'll find that most of the training you get will be on the job from colleagues when you're sitting there going, how do I do, and they will be telling you, or you'll be learning yourself how to do it and how to do it better.
We define processes, we, you know, research and design the products.
You can't sell that as premium. Our clients just simply will not buy it. They'll push back and say, yeah, we've looked at that and it's just not up to the same standard that your other material is. Thank you. Much appreciated. Very good. Thank you. I wasn't expecting that actually. No, nobody ever gives me anything.
Here I am in Ireland on my birthday at the Guinness store. How much better could it be than that? We've had a fantastic trip. I think the students are really getting a lot out of all of our visits, and both from a business standpoint and culturally.
It's my birthday and I'm Ireland! Get it, girl!
So we started out in Waterford. From there we went to Cork, Cove, Galway, Kilkenny, Killarney. And now we're back in Dublin where we started and landed. And we're about to go in the Guinness factory, as you can see. And this is our last stop so far.
The magical fifth ingredient for Guinness.
They will be all kinds of opportunities to shop.
Oh, there's a...
It's been an amazing time in Ireland. It's been such a privilege to lead this group of students. We've had incredible cultural visits, an amazing tour guide with a heart and a passion for Ireland, and he's shared it with us.
If it's hurt, no.
Hey, if it does win though, that would be amazing. I'll be like this.
Okay.
Why is everybody getting out?
We're betting on that horse you keep showing.
Oh, goodness. 33 to 1 horse.
There you go, thank you. That's good, thank you.
It's been a great time. We've just been touring and visiting all the cultural sites and businesses, and we got to take in a lot of the culture, so a blast.
What was your favorite thing that you did?
All the castles and the churches. Castles are really pretty.
Hello?
Action.
Okay, I came here, I'm working on my master's, and I came here, I'm interested in international business, so I wanted to come here and see how they do their businesses and their operations and everything, and so I'm excited to see that. We'll start this week, so.
Action, Harley.
Just talk
Funready
about-
Castle.
It was really interesting talking to her. It sounded like a lot of their business strategies and marketing strategies were very similar to the ones we use in the United States. It sounds like more recently they've been using social media more than we were using it before they were. And she said that it was really surprising how well they've noticed that people like their pages on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. And I feel like America's been doing that long before Ireland ever started.
And action.
West Bank is a startup. It's a company that helps startup companies get onto their feet and realize where they're going and how they're going to make it. They focus on the financial part of it. You have to come in with a foundation, but they'll help you with the financial part. And to me, the best part of it was just the fact that it was financial. I really related. Being an accounting major, it's not the exact same, but it's pretty close, so I kind of understood where he was going with a lot of the stuff that he was saying.
And I will receive thee, saith the Lord.
What are you amazed at today? What amazes you?
We have